If you're thinking about bifacial solar panels, you're probably stuck between the promise of extra energy and the reality of whether it's worth the premium over standard panels. I get it, you don't want to spend more just for a spec on paper that might not translate to real savings. The Renogy Bifacial Solar Panel 4-pack at 590 watts each is one of the most accessible ways to test bifacial tech without jumping into a full commercial setup. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The headline is all about the bifacial design. Those extra watts aren't just from the front side. With N-type cells and 16 bus bars, the panel is engineered to pull in reflected light from the rear, which can push daily output higher than a standard panel of the same wattage. That's especially useful if you have light-colored ground cover, a white roof, or even a reflective patio surface nearby. In real-world setups I've seen, people running these on a ground mount with gravel or concrete underneath often see a noticeable bump in kilowatt-hour compared to monofacial panels in the same spot. If your roof or yard is dark or absorbs light, though, the bifacial advantage drops fast, so location matters more than you might think. One thing that stands out is the N-type cell choice. Unlike older P-type panels, N-type cells degrade slower and perform better in high heat, which is a quiet but important advantage if you live in a hot climate. That longevity isn't just marketing, it means the panel should hold its efficiency longer, which matters when you're making a long-term investment. The 16BB design also helps with current flow and reduces micro-crack risk, which is useful if you're installing these yourself or in an area with wind or hail exposure. But don't mistake that for a guarantee against damage. These are still glass panels, and rough handling during install can still crack cells. Now, the real question is whether the extra cost is justified. Bifacial panels typically cost 15 to 25% more than top-tier monofacial panels of the same wattage. If you're installing on a roof where rear side exposure is minimal, you might not see the payoff. But if you're mounting these on a ground rack, a pergola, or even a carport where light can bounce up from below, the energy gain can help offset the higher upfront cost over time. I've seen setups where homeowners added a second row of bifacial panels under their existing array just to capture reflected light from the ground, and the incremental kilowatt-hour helped them hit their energy goals faster. That said, bifacial panels aren't plug-and-play. You'll need a mounting system that allows light to reach the rear side, no solid back panels or close roof mounting. If you're bolting these to a standard rail on a pitched roof, the bifacial benefit is basically gone. You also need to think about inverter compatibility. Most string inverters and microinverters can handle the higher output, but if you're pushing close to your inverter's max rating, you might need to adjust your system design. Overloading an inverter can lead to clipping, which cuts into the very gains you're trying to capture. Another practical concern is weight and handling. These panels are large and heavy, each one is pushing 50+ pounds. If you're doing a DIY install on a roof, you'll need help lifting and securing them, and you'll want to double-check your roof structure can handle the load. Ground mounts are easier in that regard, but you'll need to level the racking carefully to keep the rear side exposed evenly. Uneven mounting can create hotspots or reduce the bifacial gain. For the right buyer, these panels make sense. If you're building a new ground-mounted array, have reflective surroundings, and want future-proof tech with slower degradation, the Renogy 590W bifacial set is a solid pick. It's also worth noting that in some regions, bifacial panels qualify for higher clean energy credits, which can improve the ROI. But if you're retrofitting an existing roof or have limited space, the extra cost and install complexity might not be worth it. Where I'd skip these is if your budget is tight, your mounting setup blocks the rear side, or you don't have the physical ability to handle the weight and install safely. Bifacial tech is cool, but it's not magic. It only works when the conditions are right. If you're unsure, start with a single panel to test the output in your specific setup before committing to a full array. Bottom line, these panels deliver real-world gains when used correctly, but they're not a universal upgrade. If your setup matches the bifacial sweet spot, they can be a smart long-term investment. Check the link in the description if you want to see the current pricing and details. Just make sure your mounting situation can actually take advantage of what these panels offer.